Developing literacy in the disciplines. Today we're going to look at concept ladders, a specific instructional strategy for vocabulary acquisition. Let's look at first our anchor standards. Here we see language anchor standard 4 to determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases by using context clues. This will be part of the work we do that concept ladders will contribute to understanding. In Anchor Standard 5, you can see that we demonstrate understanding of figurative language, word relationships, and nuance in word meanings. Concept ladders speak specifically to word relations as well as nuances in word meanings. And as you look at Language Anchor Standard 6, that's a lot of stuff to say. We need to teach them a lot of words. And it's our job to teach them a lot of words because they need to learn a lot of words, all packed into one standard. We need to make sure that we use strategies that help them to have multiple, meaningful interactions with words to grow their vocabulary as quickly and soundly as possible. So, our learning target for today. I can describe instructional strategies that support the development of word knowledge, and I can create vocabulary instructional strategies to develop student literacy. Now, learning vocabulary in the content areas generally involves learning whole concepts, which generally requires extensive explanation, discussion, and multiple meaningful exposures. In 2012, Kukin championed the idea that students need vocabulary instruction that allows them to build rich representations of words. And that instruction simply cannot be accidental or incidental. Teachers need to plan and implement vocabulary lessons that support students in developing the kind of high-quality lexical representations that will endure and be available for reading and writing. The ultimate goal here is for students to be able to expand or refine and add to their existing conceptual knowledge, as well as enhance their comprehension and understanding of what they've read. So how do I teach words? Let's dive into an instructional strategy known as concept ladder. Concept ladders are a teaching tool. They're designed to promote deep understanding and multiple avenues of connection to dense, discipline-specific concepts. In 1986, Gillette and Temple proclaimed the usefulness of thinking of the meaning of one word in relation to the meanings of others. Fortunately, concept ladders are best used for longer periods of time as part of a thematic or topical unit, and they focus on one word or one particular concept versus a group of words. As students discuss the variety of levels on the concept ladder, they focus on knowing the word at different levels. Upton, 1973, suggested 3 questions when aiming for exactness in meaning. The first 3 levels of questions are categories: the kind, the part, the stage. Teachers and students might generate based on Upton's work with semantics. Concept ladders focus on big ideas such as themes, movements, structures, and phenomenon. Concept ladders strengthen the reading and writing connection, and they can be used for a variety of academic writing purposes. You can use them both summatively as well as formatively. Vocabulary terms are often presented to students in conjunction with a definition, whether that is given to them outright by teachers or expected of them to look it up in a dictionary-type style, retrieve the definition, and compose it in some sort of student-offered sentence. However, we know that effective vocabulary instruction doesn't rely solely on definitions. By themselves, we know that definitions can only achieve really a superficial level of word knowledge. On its own, looking up words in a dictionary or memorizing definitions is simply not a reliable means by which to improve reading comprehension. Bauman concurred with Nagy's assessment and said that definitional instruction alone is not likely to promote comprehension of passages that contain taught words. Additional instructional dimensions, contextual information, or semantic relatedness, for example, must support or extend definition instruction. Concept ladders, fortunately, allow for multiple perspectives and sufficient content. Beck, McEwen, and Kukin offered a viable alternative to presenting students with definitions. They explained that when people first learn words, they understand them more as descriptions of words as opposed to definitions. If you've ever heard a teenager, they will say things such as, well, it's kind of like, well, you know, it's like, well, it's sort of, which is associative in its nature. Graves advocated for beginning vocabulary instruction with student-friendly definitions, and following that with meaningful contexts that are based on students' experiences. Now, it's safe to say that sound definitions and context are a minimal requirement of what's good in instruction, but they don't exhaust what we can do in a good lesson. Not having access to the meaning of words representative of the concepts and content of what they have read causes students difficulty in their comprehension of text. This limits their ability to make a connection with their existing background knowledge, It inhibits their capacity to make coherent inferences, and it impacts their ability to reason. Furthermore, we know that vocabulary knowledge that is rich and well-developed, it contributes to fluent reading. Here's an example of a series of prompts to use with a concept ladder. It's one way to help students connect background knowledge to new information. Now here are some sample responses for the concept of identity. It's based on the prompts found on the previous slide. When students are dependent on an instruction to learn a word, they are expected to achieve ownership of that word. And so the instruction must provide multiple and varied encounters with that word. Concept ladders can be used to do so. Pittleman and Heimlich and Bergeland in French in '91 claimed that in order for students to learn new words well enough to improve comprehension of written texts, we need multiple meaningful opportunities. Did we get that? Multiple meaningful opportunities? Multiple meaningful numbers of times? You see that the mere provision of a word's meaning is simply not going to be enough. Not even just that rich, meaningful explanation that we might use in our academic discourse. Rather, more than temporary surface-level understanding, if we want new words to become permanent, is required. Use a concept ladder. They help meet this demand and prosper student literacy.